Hello, this is Brett from SurvivalComms, and today we're going to do a quick video on how I like to do my end connections on HF wire antennas, like where I'm going to put the insulator on, for example. 30 something years ago, the way we used to do it is we would take and we would just twist this over on itself like that, and then we would apply solder across this joint and trim it up and call that good. And that works out well, except for what happens is when you apply solder to flexible wire, it creates a rigid point and a soft point or a flexible point, and what happens is, more often than not, is that's where your break will occur in flexing. So modern antenna manufacturers have gotten into the habit of using crimps, and they would just place a crimp ferrule on here and then use a hydraulic crimper or a mechanical crimper to crimp that ferrule down and then trim it off, and that's another good way to do it. But if you don't want to spend the money for a hydraulic crimper or a crimp tool and the ferrules, here's an equally strong way to do it. To start, get your insulator and your wire. I'm going to finish it with heat shrink, and you don't have to do this, but if you choose to do so, I would encourage you to. Go ahead and slide your heat shrink on, and then about 10 inches back, just take your wire and make a figure 8, just like that. Now take your insulator and slide it on, and then all you're going to do is you're going to follow the wire back through your figure 8. So here's a close-up to give you a good idea what the knot looks like. Like I said, all you're doing is you're following through with the tail, and just go ahead and pull that tight and dress your knot up. Take your cutter, trim your tail up, inspect your work again, and go ahead and place your heat shrink on. Place it on there evenly, apply heat. Inspect your work, and now you have a connection that's flexible and durable, and strength-wise meets or exceeds anything commercially manufactured. Now we're going to use another classic knot for the feed point, and for this we're going to use one of my universal antenna insulators, and this is version 2.0. You can see it's much thicker than my first version, and I just make these out of surplus plastic material. These pieces came out of old Pelican cases. So we're going to go ahead and apply some heat shrink to our antenna element, and we want that heat shrink to be right where our loop is going to run around our element mounting position on the antenna insulator. Placing this on our element is going to give it a more finished look, and it's also going to provide abrasion protection to the element itself in service. Next step is to add some more heat shrink, and that's going to be when we finish our knot. The knot we're going to use to attach our element to our insulator plate is just a simple bowline. Take your insulator plate, run your element through, and right where our heat shrink is where we're going to go ahead and make our bend, and that's our mark on our element length. And now where we want our knot to be We just make a simple loop like that and pull it through like that. Now we take our free end, run it back through here, and pinching here, we just pull this back through, and our knot is complete, just like that. Tighten it up, inspect your work. We have an outside bowline. The nice thing about using the outside bowline in this application is this is going to allow us to tie into our feed line. Now after we've inspected our knot and pulled it tight, take our heat shrink, place it over our knot, and we want to bring it down just enough to where we're pretty much even with our first loop. And let's shrink this down. Now inspect your work, and finding it satisfactory, finish by taking a small wire tie, and this adds a little bit of extra security to your joint. Finish it off just like this, and we have both elements attached, and we're ready to attach our feed line. And whether we use coax, which we can use with this plate, or window line, which is what I'm going to use with this particular antenna build, it's going to work out just fine. I hope this helps. This is Brett from SurvivalComms. Till next time.